Morning, everyone there. I'm still struggling with the flow, but I want to give you another information that I think is important to talk about because if you start blogging, you cannot stop. You have to have what you call consistency in giving out the information that is needed. The reason why I'm deciding to do this is because today I want to um, put it out to you that in case you want to know about how to get information about importing a car or auto machineries from South Africa to other parts of Africa and how to go about it. Uh, my experience is first-hand experience because I've done it, and I think I've done it to Kenya, and I've done it to Zimbabwe, I've done it to Nigeria, and originally I'm a Kenyan, so I know how to go about it because most of the Kenyans, this is the kind of the job they're doing. I wanted to take a BMW 2018 model X3 diesel engine, and if you really want to get a car out of South Africa, it is not complicated system. Procedure that is required: one, South Africa doesn't have second-hand cars on its road unless it is registered in Botswana, Zimbabwe, or Mozambique, and then it has what you call insurance to operate in South Africa, which is renewed monthly. All other cars that are manufactured or on the road in South Africa, they are locally manufactured here in South Africa. So South Africa got what you call multi-international assembling plant for those companies, whether it's Isuzu, whether it's Mercedes, whether it's BMW, whether it's American cars, the Jeep, and all those British cars. They have their assembling plant here. The parts are assembled here, the designs are done here, assembled here, and then they are exported. No matter how flash the car is, South Africa has that capacity to do that because we have visited these industries around and we have seen how they manufacture these cars. Um, if, for instance, you are a Kenyan and you want to import a car from South Africa, one thing, you have to look at the status of your passport first. Do you require a visa to come to South Africa? And I think Kenya is a visa free to South Africa since January this year. What is needed next is, do you have the provincial trade area clearance certificate so that you can be able to trade from COMESA, because Kenya is a COMESA region and South Africa is a SADC region. If you have that certificate clearance, the next thing you need to do is to locate the dealers of those cars in South Africa, whether it's new, of which buying a new car in South Africa is almost impossible because it must go through the monthly credit system, meaning you must be working locally. But if you have that kind of money, they can actually sell it to you, but you have to have what you call tax clearance to prove the source of the funds. But if you're buying a second-hand car, maybe the pre-owned, because most of the cars are resold by the banking systems here. If maybe somebody got the car, doesn't want it anymore, or the insurance, take it out of accident and then refurbish the car and then give it to the bank to sell it, you can go to the dealers. And once you go to the dealers, number one, you need to have, if you're not a citizen, you need to have valid passport. If you have visa required, just make sure it's authenticated. Secondly, you need to have what you call import and duty insurance clearance certificate. Then you can sit down with the dealer and identify the car you want. Once you identify the car you want, number one, the seller must provide certificate of registration as an auto car dealers in the country, and you have to verify this with the government trade and industry website. You punch in the serial number of the certificate and then you verify it. From there, now you can identify the car you want. The car must have the identity document, which is the logbook and the ownership certificate, which is accompanied by the identity, which is the identification number of the ID of the previous owner of that car. And the thirdly, must have what you call certified police clearance to prove the car is not stolen. The car, if it had accident history, it will reflect. Once all those documents are provided there on the table, what you need to do next is to proceed to the police station and you verify that the documents that are on the table actually they belong to the person who is selling the car. The government will search in their database if the car is legitimately owned by that person, and if it is cleared or stolen and recovered, or was at any one given time ever involved in the accident, and how many people owned that car previously. That information will be provided by the police. Once you prove the car doesn't have issues, police will give you what you call clearance certificate of that car. From there, you have to check whether that car is owing the traffic department, that is Ministry of Transport and Industry. How do you go about it? You take the documents of the owner and the certificate of the logbook. He proceeds to the Department of Traffic. If he doesn't own, then that car, I'm telling you, you can proceed and agree to pay. Prefer to pay cash. Count all the money at the police station and pay. If it is an individual, but if it is a dealership, prefer to use an attorney to help you go about it, because most of the dealership they don't take cash unless it's an Indian. Whites they don't take cash unless Indian or a black dealership. But when you're dealing with a black dealership, you have to be very careful about the ownership of the car. Something else I would like to talk about concerning this car is know that the car is not older more than 6 years or 7 years, because some countries in Africa they don't accept cars that are older than 10 years, 8 years, 6 years. It depends on the country regulation. Once you have done this, that car is in your hands now. Next thing is to identify how the car, you will be able to do the transfer of ownership. With a passport in South Africa, Traffic Act, it clearly states you can transfer the ownership of the car to the new owner. How do you go about it? You need to go to the traffic department with your valid passport and obtain what we call traffic register. Traffic register is a special document that allows a foreigner to own the car in South Africa. You will transfer the ownership of the car from the previous owner, if it is a South African, to a foreign who has a passport, which is a legitimate document that allows you to have traffic register. A traffic register is a South African certified document that allows you to own a car, and you can also start now having what you call process of getting a learnership driving license thereafter. But because you want to do importation, you now have what you call credibility to now look for means and ways to ship or export your car throughout the border. You will require a special permit from the police clearance, custom police clearance. This one requires you to be given the right to take the car out of the country hassle free, either by the border or by the sea or by the air. It's up to you now. You can decide now which means and ways you want to use so that you can be able to take the car to where you want to take it. If you are going to Zambia, you're going to Kenya, I think it's about, you don't need much time, because I think it will take only 7 days to hit the road. When you're in Johannesburg, you can prefer to look for agent drivers. They're there. They'll drive your car to Kenya and they charge you maybe 10,000 rands or 15,000 rands. Then when you reach to these SADC borders between Zimbabwe and Zambia. There they check whether the car is stolen, and they might take you longer to do clearance there because corruption is excessive there. But beyond that border, that car you can go all the way until you reach the border of Kenya, whereby the custom now you have to declare, and then you have to pay the import duty. That is it. That's how easy it is to own a car in South Africa and be able to take it out of the country. If it is a import car, ex-Japan cars, those are not allowed to be driven or registered in South Africa, but they are imported, and we have the dealership. Those dealership, you buy the car from the dealership directly, and then you register it to the country of destination, or you register to the nearest countries like Lesotho, Botswana, and Swaziland or Mozambique. It depends, on Zimbabwe. Then you can take it from there. Anyway, guys, I wanted to give you that hint. Have a good day.